your reach, like the YouTube, sure, it's like less views or whatever, but it's like such higher quality views, and maybe even for podcasts too, it's even higher quality.
Yeah. So that's a key piece. I've been binge watching your content. I told you, another one of our mutual friends, Blake, that you had on. I met him through Cody a couple years ago. He's Mr. Short Form.
Yep.
And as I was listening to that interview, and I was just thinking, I only focused on long form, and I think what I've found is specifically, I try to focus on like high ticket items. And so with high ticket, from the data that I've found, you typically need about an hour and a half with a person before they can buy. And so while I don't get as many views as Blake gets across social media, the views are so much better, or quality, right? So on a YouTube video, on a 25-minute video, I'll average 65% retention.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's high.
Well, I was just going to say, so when somebody watches you for 25 minutes, and they've been watching 25-minute videos for months or years, I mean, they think they know you.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of trust that's built. You know, when you watch hours and hours of content, there's a lot of character that they pick up, a lot of personality. And so you really start to get it versus just a real short form. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of doing short form content. And the reason why is I think it's one of the bigger problems that we have in the world today, where everybody reads headlines and they don't get the context. And today we see so much, black or white. People think very linearly, but everything has nuance. And if you don't pick up the nuance, you're just never going to get it. And, I'll do a 20-minute video on like a big subject. Like George Gammon, he's one of my good friends, he'll dive deep into like reverse repo.
Yeah.
Well, I'm left watching that going, what does that mean? Yep. Why do I care? So then I'll do a video on like, hey, if you want the technical, go watch George. But let me tell you why you care about this and what it means to you, right? So anyway, I'll take these very complex subjects, make them super easy to understand, and I'll do it in like 20 minutes. And people will be like, dude, it's too long. Make it shorter. I'm like, then just read the headline. So anyway, I'm not a form of short form content because what can I really tell you in 45 seconds?
Plus, I'll be honest, I don't know about you, but like I don't remember anybody from short form. Anybody, actually. Yeah. There's only one person, actually, Jenny Hoyos.
One person.
That's because I watched a 35-minute video of her getting interviewed. That's the only reason I know her.
Yeah. I think it's the way that I'm seeing it and the way that I want to approach it is like top of funnel. All my content is top of funnel, but really the shorts would be super top of funnel. That's how we've been using them on Instagram anyway. And I think I've seen several people like Blake, but even in the crypto space that I know, they really used TikTok to build their YouTube channels. So I think the TikTok, the shorts will be top of funnel for the other for the long form content, and then long form content will still be top of funnel for the products and services.
Yeah. I mean, I think this works out really well. Well, I've done podcasts for years, but I've never chopped them up. Like we're starting, like literally last maybe 90 days or so, and I see the flywheel starting to work really well, and it's just like, oh, okay, like you roll with whatever organic channel is working well.
Yeah.
So
the problem is because like most of my content, as I was saying, is typically like a 20-minute, 25-minute like thesis.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's super clip worthy.
Yeah.
Because like you take a 45-second clip out of a 20-minute like teaching video, you don't really get the whole context of what it is. And that's why, I know, like I listened to your video with Hermosi and he's like, oh, we're just pulling clips now. He doesn't do direct to camera anymore. But I think for what I'm doing, my type of content doesn't really lead to that. And I think that's part of the reason why it hasn't really been growing for us. And so that's where we're thinking about making just specific short form content for that. That's just short sound bites, snippets. And if you want the deeper content, then you come into the long form.
Oh, got it. I like that. It's a preview to your long forms.
Yeah.
65% retention is insane. Do you think that compounded over years and years to get to that 65%? Like, what have you done to do that?
Good storytelling, right? It's copywriting. So I think it's all about the intro, right? So it's all about the hook. So I do a 3-part hook, and this is just copywriting, like who's it for, what's it for, and status change, right? That's what basically what it is. So like the hook is like, the end of the international monetary order is coming. Watch out. So like some sort of a hook, right? And then so that's like the hook. And then I give the offer, right? So it's like the hook, the offer, and that would be like, as you know, the system's crashing, 3 banks collapsed this year. The banks could bail in your money. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 banks that are most dangerous. So then like I'll kind of give the context and then I'll tell you what's in the video. In this video, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show you this, this. And then the last part is the status change or like the testimonial. having this information will protect you from whatever, right? So I kind of like, I'll try to get that out in like 60 seconds. So like a really strong hook, the context of what it is, what they're going to receive, and the status change that they'll receive, the benefit.
If they stay till the end.
Of staying to the end, right?
Yeah.
And then, through good storytelling, it's like, they need the journey, right? So it's like, we're going to go over this, we're going to go over this, we're going to go over this, but we're also going to say what you need to watch out for, the danger, this thing that you need to know as well. And then I think just from years of doing it, I think naturally I'll be like, and we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, hey, we'll talk about that in a minute, and like hooks to the end, kind of things like that.
I think it's probably second nature for you now, but that 60 seconds, that hook, and then everything you talked about, how long does that typically take you?
To write it out?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of YouTubers, they talk about like creating the package first, right? The package for me consists of a title and like a paragraph. That's like, that would be probably the package for me. I would do the title, the thumbnail, because I usually put like a couple words on the thumbnail. So it'd be the title, thumbnail, and like a paragraph. That's like the package. So I'll start from there. Then I'll build it out to typically 8 bullet points. And then of those 8 bullet points, I try to put 3 to 4 bullet points under each one. So that's where I start. And then I'll usually build the video out and then go back and write the intro.
Yeah, so you're not just like shooting from the hip. And by the way, there's like so many different ways to do this.
Yeah.
Like
I want the intro to be good, and so I'm pretty good at shooting off the cuff because I've been doing it for 5 years now. But I find it to be better when I do it, and I don't go back and try to like SEO optimize it or I don't do any of that. I don't know how important that is for YouTube anymore. The thing is, for what I'm doing, for the type of content I'm doing, a lot of the learning comes from the research process. So when I sit down to build that video, I'm going to spend 4 or 5 hours on that video. I'm going to start, researching and pulling stuff. And then I'm learning more stuff as I'm going. So that's why I'll go back and do the intro after I've built the video, because like, I'm not exactly sure what the flow is going to be. So then I might end up with 10, 12 bullet points, then I'll compress it back down. And then, and then I just launch it. I don't know how long it's going to take me.
Yep.
I typically figure I can get through about 8 slides in about 25 minutes,
I think your framework's amazing for the content itself. Are you doing anything like crazy stuff?
No, I use Tubebuddy, and Tubebuddy will allow you to A/B test the thumbnail. The problem with the A/B testing on Tubebuddy is that it's a 24-hour period. And so like typically you come out of the gate pretty hot, and then, and so, we'll look at like the click-through rate. That's kind of one of the big pieces for me, but like, and if it doesn't seem to be taking off good, we'll go back and change a title or a thumbnail. But because the data has like that lag to it, like I haven't found a real good way to do that. I do know one of the big YouTube strategies, and I've seen Russell Brand hiring for this role, but is a YouTube optimizer, and even going back to the back catalog a year or 2 old and changing thumbnails and titles in that. So shout out right now, because I'll throw it out a couple times, but I'm hiring all kinds of people. Yeah. onemarkmoss.com/jobs, onemarkmoss.com/jobs. If you want to be a YouTube optimizer, hit me up. So
remote's good.
Remote's good.